This is huge for the Rams as we are talking about Davante Adams dealing with an oblique injury, what Sean McVay had to say about his star receivers' availability versus the Seahawks, as well as what jerseys the Rams are going to debut versus the Seahawks, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button now, as roughly 4,651 people are subscribed to the channel. I think a little more than that, and we are trying to push for 5,000 subscribers sooner rather than later. So please do us a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button. If you like what you see and you keep coming back for more so you don't miss any daily Rams content, consider pressing that subscribe button. Let's get into the big news of today, as we are talking about Sean McVay saying that he will be surprised if Davante Adams doesn't play versus the Seahawks. Sounds like Adams has a good chance to play against Seattle on Sunday. Cameron DeSilva of the Rams Wire breaking it all down for us. And I will say, when I first read this, I for some reason thought it said he'd be surprised if Davante Adams does play. Got kind of freaked out. Personally, have Davante Adams on fantasy. He's been my number one receiver all year long, helping me stay atop of my fantasy league. Not trying to brag, 8-2, whatever, no big deal. But Davante Adams, obviously, if he didn't play for the Rams this Sunday, or this coming Sunday, still has a chance, right, to not play. If he ends up not playing this Sunday, it's kind of a big loss for the Rams, right? Puka Nacua becomes a true and tried number one receiver. Cool, he's used to that, but what do you have next to him, right? You're talking about Jordan Whittington didn't really play that much last week, was dealing with some injury issues, it looked like. Xavier Smith seemed to have a couple of issues, like lining up a little bit with Stafford being not on the same page necessarily. Connor Mumfield had some snaps, but no Tutu Atwell still, so the receiver grouping kind of gets a little bit dwindled down once you don't have Adams or Puka out on the field. So we're hoping that that is not the case and Davante Adams does play. Sean McVay making it sound like it looks pretty good so far. So McVay told reporters he'll have more on Adams' injury Wednesday when he holds his next press conference. Today's Tuesday night as I'm recording this, so we'll get an update tomorrow. But he doesn't sound too concerned about his receivers' availability against a top-flight defense like Seattle. The Rams will need Adams on the outside if they're going to take down the Seahawks. He leads the league, Adams does, with 9 touchdown catches in 9 games, putting him on pace for 17 this season, which would be one off of his career high of 18 receiving touchdowns. So, Davante Adams, we could talk about him for a second and kind of hype him up a little bit. He's been playing super well this year, right? And he's been playing like prime Davante Adams. And when you say that, sometimes people are like, I don't know, Josh, prime Davante Adams is pretty good, one of the best receivers in the league. Well, when you lead the league in touchdown catches, you're playing pretty well, one of the best receivers in the league. So right now, Stafford and Adams have had this incredible connection this year that has kind of brought us back to Green Bay Packers days almost of how good Davante Adams is. Now, don't disrespect any Packers fans. I know Adams was absolutely incredible, Hall of Famer during his Green Bay Packers days, but you are seeing flashes of that with the Rams. I mean, he's finding open spaces. He's kind of becoming that number one true receiving option for Stafford. Now, Puka's still there. Puka's still playing really, really well as well. It's a 1A, 1B situation. But Davante Adams playing the way he has been playing at this age has been key for the Rams. And the biggest thing is, if he doesn't play, if he ever does deal with an injury, you do have Puka Nacua still, but you still want to see this team at full strength with Adams on one side, Puka on the other. It's a very difficult duo to try to defend, really, for any team. As we've seen so far this season, it's been difficult for anyone to slow this offense down on a consistent basis. So very interesting to see if Adams goes or not on Sunday. Sounds good, though. That's the biggest update here. It sounds positive right now. He kind of just tweaked his oblique a little bit, lower back issue a little bit, kind of just a little bit of a shimmy. Actually, I saw on Twitter there was a little bit of a joke going on. I think it was a comedian, I forget his name, but posted like, hey man, it's time to hang up the cleats. When you do a little shimmy shake and no contact, kind of have to clutch at your back, it's time to hang the cleats up. Davante Adams, don't worry, was in the comments of that comedian's post saying you gotta chill, with some laughing emojis. So all fun and games right now. It's not necessarily anything serious, it looks like, for Davante Adams, which is good news. Now, it's still a little scary. Older receiver dealing with lower back issue after no contact really, but we're hoping nothing but the best for Davante Adams. Probably a week of rest, a lot of limited practices, a lot of maybe DNPs as well early in the week we'll probably see this week, but we'll wait and see what the update is from Sean McVay tomorrow. But it is really key, right, for Davante Adams to play when we're talking about facing off this versus the Seattle Seahawks team. Okay, this is not necessarily going to be 100% what everyone else believes, but NFL.com dropped an article, and this was the power rankings. This is not NFC power rankings. This is not NFC West power rankings. These are the power rankings for the entire NFL, and they have the Seattle Seahawks ranked at number 1. Now, is that an accurate kind of report, or not a report, is it an accurate kind of list that everyone should kind of follow? I don't know. People are going to have their own opinions on who should be number one, who should be number two. But right now, the Seattle Seahawks are currently, according to NFL.com and NFL.com analysts, they are ranked number one in the NFL. Now, the Los Angeles Rams are, good thing, are ranked number two, right behind Seattle. So whether you think the Rams should be favored or not, these are the power rankings right now as they currently sit. And so the Rams going into a huge matchup for the NFL, for the NFC West, for the NFC, all these things for the Rams themselves in terms of their season. We just talked about last week, right? This could potentially, that game versus the Niners could define your season. You lose to the Niners against Mac Jones again, all of a sudden people are talking about, wow, this team isn't really up to par. They aren't as good as they need to be. And they end up dominating, so to speak. I know it was kind of close at times, but they dominated for the most part of that football game last week versus the Niners. And so now you're a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed, but it's time to get up again because now you're facing off against the Seattle Seahawks, who some would say, some are saying, they are the number one team out in the NFL. So, going to be a huge matchup for the Rams. Huge for them to be healthy in this game. And obviously, they can kind of put a stamp on the NFC West of saying, hey, we are the best team in the NFC West. It's what I've believed all year long. And a lot of you Rams fans out there have believed all year long that we are the best team in the NFC West. But you lose to San Fran earlier in the year with Kendrick Bourne popping off, and all of a sudden, we're getting a close game, kind of a rough battle against the Indianapolis Colts. Almost, if they don't make mistakes, you don't win that game. Things like that. The kicking game has been so messy. There was moments this season where you're starting to kind of lose your confidence, or your confidence was rattled a little bit at times with this Rams team. But after this Niners game, you're feeling pretty good. You want to continue that feeling good train by beating the Seattle Seahawks this Sunday and showing everyone, showing the whole league, you are the best team in the NFC West, quite possibly the best team in the NFL, which I think a lot of us do believe here. So let's see what you guys are going to feel about this matchup versus Seattle. How do you feel about Davante Adams maybe missing the game, maybe not missing the game? How do you feel about this matchup versus Seattle Seahawks? How big do you think this game is for the Rams? Let me know in the comment section down below. And then moving on from that, well, what jerseys are the Rams going to wear this Sunday? They're actually going to be debuting their midnight mode jerseys. Have officially been activated. You see the picture here. You see Stafford on the left, Puka Nacua on the right. Jerseys look pretty clean in the photo shoots. Some of the fan jerseys, maybe I don't know, but this is a blue on the arm or what. I haven't bought my midnight mode jersey yet. Let me know if you guys have purchased yours. Let me know if I should purchase mine. I definitely would be interested to see what number I should get. Maybe a Puka Nacua is probably due for a Puka Nacua jersey. But let me know how you guys feel about the Rams debuting the jersey. Are you excited about it? Are you iffy on it? We'll see how it looks. I mean, come Sunday, right, versus the Seahawks, it's going to be a rivalry kind of game for the Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. So going to be intriguing for sure. The Rams, should they also give a shout to Cooper Kupp? Probably. And so it's going to be a big time game for them. A lot of eyes on this football game. It's not going to be a prime time game, unfortunately, but it is still going to be a huge game for the Rams in the afternoon. So we'll see how those jerseys look out on the field. Let me know how you guys feel about it down below in the comment section. And then moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, where I ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section. Whether right, whether wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode's trivia of the day, this was a question we asked everyone. We said, which NFL player once played in both a Super Bowl and a World Series? We had a few options as multiple choice options for people who watched that video. If you missed it, no worry, we'll ask a trivia question today. But the multiple choice options we had for everyone on which NFL player once played in a Super Bowl and a World Series, was it A, Bo Jackson, B, Deion Sanders, C, Brian Jordan, or D, Tim Tebow? Multiple choice options for the group here. A few of you guys did play along with the trivia of the day. Here were your trivia guesses. We had Juan saying Deion, Primetime Sanders, and we had Floyd saying Sanders as well. Usually, when 100% of the people guess the same thing, it usually is correct, and it is actually correct in this case. Deion Sanders once played in a Super Bowl and played in a World Series. I think he played with the Atlanta Braves, if I'm not mistaken. Deion Sanders World Series. If I'm not mistaken, he was on the Braves when it happened. He was on the Atlanta Braves when he played in the World Series. So Obviously, won a couple of Super Bowls as well, so pretty good experience for Deion Sanders. Let me know. Let me make sure I'm shouting you guys out still. Let me know if you guys missed out on the trivia of the day. Make sure you guys play along with today's trivia of the day. But a special shout out to Juan, special shout out to Floyd for getting this one correct. I felt like it was an easy one. Thought more people would play along. Guess not. If you guys want to play along with today's trivia because you're like, that was so easy, I want an easy shout out just like those folks got on the next episode that Josh is on. Well, let me know and play along with today's trivia of the day, which is this question here. Today's question for trivia of the day: what NFL team once drafted a future U.S. president? Emphasis on drafted a U.S. president. Maybe the president didn't play. I'm not trying to spoil anything. Maybe he didn't play a game. But what NFL team once drafted a U.S. president? You don't have to know what the president's name is, but which team did something like this and went ahead and drafted a former or a future U.S. president. Was it A, the Detroit Lions? Was it B, the Green Bay Packers? Was it C, the New York Giants? Or was it D, the Cleveland Browns? Again, what NFL team once drafted a future U.S. president? A, the Detroit Lions. B, the Green Bay Packers. C, the New York Giants. A, the Detroit Lions. Did I say that? I don't know if I sound like I said Giants for some reason. B, the Green Bay Packers. C, the New York Giants. Or D, the Cleveland Browns. Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Please consider pressing that subscribe button, especially if you're watching right here, right now, still in this moment, and you're not subscribed. Do me a favor, consider pressing that subscribe button before you go as we try to chase that 5,000 mark. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode. I'm your host, Josh with Giron, and I'm out.